to make your child a millionaire. No adding them to an LLC, just a straightforward method to ensure that your child has a wealthy future. Stay tuned.
Yes. Well, Dustin, welcome to T-Minus Retirement, episode 52. Here we are. As you started off, we're going to be talking about a newly available type of account that can help make your child a millionaire if you take advantage of it. And you're going to bring us some insight on this. This is really exciting considering now we're past the 4th of July. We're in 2026, in August 2026. So yeah, share with us what's on your mind.
So I joke about the LLC thing at the beginning just because I always see these videos about adding your child to an LLC and making them an employee and, having them pick up trash or whatever, their 1-year-old child is a member of their LLC as an employee. Also, they can make
out of their home office.
Yeah. Also, they can make Roth contributions. So that's questionable at best. So what I wanted to talk about today is the new account. It's been out just over a month now, and it's the new Trump accounts where you can set one up for your child. You can contribute $5,000 per year until they're 18. That money gets invested in the stock market. And honestly, it's just a really easy way for parents to help start saving for their kids and get those years of compounding under the child's belt. And I wanted to talk about it because it's an account unlike anything we've really had before. So if the name of the account bothers you, I would really encourage you to move on as quick as you can. Get over that because you could be really, leaving some money on the table for your child. So the Trump accounts, they went live July 4th of this year, in honor of America's 250th birthday, so to speak.
Yes, go 250.
So the whole thing with the Trump accounts and why they're a little different than traditional retirement accounts is typically for these traditional retirement accounts like a IRA, a Roth IRA, you have to have earned income to contribute to them. This is an all new type of account that is set up for minors. It works very much like a traditional IRA. However, you don't get a tax deduction for putting money into it, but you're able to put up to $5,000 into this account on behalf of your child. The neat thing is parents can give to it, grandparents can give to it, the neighbor who, loves your child can give to it, as far as I know. Up to that annual limit. The money goes in, it's invested automatically. You don't have to pick investments. It's just invested into SPYM, very low cost S&P 500 ETF. I think it's 2 basis points fee on it. So nothing. And that money gets automatically invested and grows and compounds until age 18, at which time it converts to a traditional IRA. And your child has the option to hopefully leave it in. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second, but they can leave it in or they can use it. Same rules apply to a traditional IRA. So the money that comes out of it is going to be ordinary income. Little, not to get too in the weeds, but the account, because you don't get a tax deduction, the money that you put in is going to be basis inside of the IRA. So you wouldn't pay tax on every dollar that comes out of it, but it's just a small nuance. But I just think it's a really neat way that parents can start helping their kids save for their future, and hopefully in a perfect world, it's for their retirement, because having an extra 18 years of compounding, I just think it's extraordinary. So we've never had that opportunity before.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you're pretty jazzed about it. I would be jazzed, except my youngest is now 18. So
yeah,
I missed the boat on this one. But but nonetheless, you're absolutely correct. This is a new opportunity that is worth getting excited over, especially for any of us who are younger parents or new parents. Can you kind of break it down for us a little bit? Like how does somebody go about opening up one of these accounts? Because I know there's more than one way to do it.
Yeah, so I actually opened one up just so that I could explain and get a feel for it so that I could help my clients, if they ask. It's really easy. And little point, I did not file the 4547 form during my taxes. So that was a particular form that you were supposed to file to set this up or to, get in the queue. I went to trumpaccounts.gov. You download the app. If you've downloaded any app and set up any type of account before, you can do this. It's really simple. You download the app. The app runs on Robinhood's platform, so it's streamlined. It's really intuitive. You put
So
your information, you put your child's information. It helps you complete the 4547 IRS form. You submit that. I would say less than 24 hours go by, you get, approved, and you can finish setting up the account. Now, if your child was born in 2025 or later, January of 2025 or later, then your child will get $1,000, seed money into this account. Unfortunately, my son missed that by, 7 months or so. So we didn't get the $1,000, but we opened up the account and you link a bank account to it. You can set up one-time contributions. You can set up automatic contributions, systematically. You can provide a QR code to relatives who maybe want to help contribute. And honestly, it's as easy as, setting up a streaming app or anything else. It's really intuitive. So they did a good job with that.
that's pretty cool. So you're saying it's trumpaccount.gov, right?
Yeah, I think if you go there, it gives you some basic information, and then there's a QR code where you can just scan it with your phone and then download the app. You can also just go to the App Store and search for it. But in true Trump fashion, it's like gold and all the rest. So whatever.
So it probably works a little more efficiently than healthcare.gov does.
Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, many of you probably have a Robinhood account or have a Schwab account or Fidelity. It works as good, probably better than the Schwab and Fidelity accounts because it's on Robinhood. It's just really, it was designed, for an app type interface. So, and it's really neat. I think it's an interesting opportunity because there are some pros and cons in my opinion. Really, the only con is that once your child turns 18, it's their money, so I think that puts some burden on the parent in a good way that you need to be educating your child that, how to use this money, the importance of it, and why they want to leave it in as long as they can. It's a good opportunity to teach them about investing and compounding, get them interested in saving, honestly, because, when they're 60, 65, who knows what the value of a dollar will be? Who knows if they're going to have some of the same safety nets like Social Security and those types of things. So the longer that they can start saving and to have an extra 18 years of money being compounded for them is so important. We'll throw some visuals up on the screen here, but I just took these screenshots from my experience setting it up. But so take the numbers with a slight grain of salt. They might be slightly higher or lower because I'm not starting this, at age 0 for my son because my son was already, 2 at the time. And so all of that comes into this kind of calculation that they show you. But I just think it's so important, this first one here. What if you put $100 a month in? What would that be at age 18? Just if it's going to be automatically invested, remember, I think I have a 9% rate of return annualized in here. So it's honestly below average for what the S&P has done over the last 10 years, but it's even slightly below the long-term average. So I'm not cherry picking it, but that $100 a month compounding for, until age 18, is going to be almost $42,000 by that time.
Yeah.
So that's really powerful. And I think what's even more powerful is, what will that $42,000 be if I can teach my son well enough, and hopefully I can, to not touch it and add to it. But if he doesn't touch it, and by the time he's age 60, that's $2.3 million.
Now, was that contributing after he turned 18, or just
No,
every contribution up till age 18?
That's every contribution up till age 18.
And then standard SPY or SPYM, I should say,
Correct.
growth. Yeah.
Because think about it. That's going to double and double and double and double and double. And it just, of course, the way compounding works is it's always slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
That really doesn't become a substantial amount of money, until probably age 50, where it reaches $1 million. But then that million doubles to 2 million.
Yeah.
In another 7 years or so, 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And so that's really powerful. But again, remember, you can put up to $5,000 a year. If you're in a position to do that, what does that look like?
Real quick question on that.
Yeah.
When you say you can put up to $5,000 a year, does that mean you as parent plus others that want to contribute can
it's
they
combined.
add 5,000? Oh, so it's a combined total.
Yeah, it's a total. It's a total amount.
That's good to know. Okay, so combined total annually of $5,000 contribution.
So if you add $415 a month from now until age 18, and your child doesn't touch it, when they're 60, that's $9.8 million compounding at 9%. It's almost $10 million. And that's not them getting their own job and doing 401k contributions and all the rest. But that is serious money. I don't know what $9.8 million is going to be worth in 2084. It's not going to be what it's worth today, but it's a heck of a lot better than nothing.
That'll buy a starter home for the generation at that time.
Yeah, maybe.
In California.
And I know not everybody's in that position to spend an extra $5,000 and put that away for their child or children. So, what if you do $45 a month? That $45 a month, which, is probably realistic that we can scrape that up. Maybe we don't go to Starbucks a couple times during the month. That is just a little over $1 million by the time the child is 60.
That's amazing.
$45 a month from now until age 18. You leave it in there. At age 60, that's $1 million.
That's amazing.
It doesn't take any gimmicks, any tricks. It's just investing consistently and steady and letting your money work for you. And I just think that's so important. Again, we've never had an opportunity like this because most of the time, again, to contribute to these retirement accounts, you have to have earned income. So obviously my 2-year-old doesn't have earned income unless I'm going to do something that's not above board. So,
so just because we know this is a new type of, I'm going to call it custodial because we're talking about for the benefit of a child, that's
right.
a minor under 18. There's other types of custodial accounts out there, or other types of accounts for minors out there. Where would it's, and I think the point of this discussion is not necessarily to bring some of the age-old ones into the consideration, because we know there's certain limits and whatnot that may make those less appealing. But a big one that's a big deal in conversations right now is, say, a 529. Open up a 529 for your child so that way it's building towards their higher education or their education expenses that might come in private school or in college. Yeah. So how does that play into the strategy when you're thinking about, say, you have a son who's 2, and you're thinking about the future for him? How might, I'm not saying you're doing this, but I'm just saying, how might that this Trump account play in strategy with something like a 529?
I mean, it definitely doesn't replace a 529. In my mind, they're used for completely different purposes. Although, we don't have to go into all the rules on some IRA withdrawals, but a 529 is really for higher education, or I know they've expanded the rules recently, so you can use that for a lot of different things, trade schools, private schools, even, before college age. But in general, they're really thought of as college type of accounts. And that money you put in, you may or may not get some state benefits, but and then you can take it out, use it for college expenses, and it's tax free.
Yeah.
This type of account doesn't work that way. You don't get any deduction for putting money into it. And it's really, in theory, you could use it for anything, but you're going to pay tax on the gains when you do take it out. Unless it's under the kind of, well, you're always going to pay tax on the gain, I guess, is really the way to say it. Now, if your child cashes the entire thing out at age 20 to go buy, a sports car, that's not a good decision. They're going to be paying tax and penalties because of an early withdrawal penalty. So again, you need to be talking with your child and educating them and showing them what that could be worth later on if they don't touch it, and really, instilling some of these core principles that we know they're not teaching in school. So that's on the parent. So I just think, kind of to answer your question, it's going to be used in addition to, not in replace of, a 529.
I'm glad you clarify that, because that's two different purposes, two different savings goals. Another topic that I think has come up in our conversations with others about this is, well, hey, once my child turns 18, should I convert this Trump account into a Roth account? What do you think of that approach?
I think that's really smart. I haven't read anything that says you can't do that. Typically, when you're 18, 19, 20, you don't have a ton of income. You're usually in school or something. So that would be the perfect time to, take that, what did I say it would be? Take that 100, where did it go? I think the example I used, it was 41,000. That's $100 a month. But, if you max it out, I think it's going to be 170 or something, for in this situation. But yeah, when a child has very low income, start doing Roth conversions. They could take that money. Again, there's basis in it, so it's not all taxable, but convert portions of it into Roth. And then maybe you can get, $9 million, $10 million of tax-free money. Think of what position you would be in at 60 with $10 million of tax-free money plus all the other stuff that you did.
Yep.
I mean, that's a great position to be in. Now, it's going to be hard. This is kind of an experiment, right? I don't know. It's going to be hard for some kids to see that and not touch it prematurely, but they're certainly going to be better off, with this than without it, in my opinion.
Yep. No, I agree. That's a good point. And they will be better off with it. And it's like you said, it's one really, when it comes to sound, financial wisdom, it's really important as parents, as we understand, how to handle money responsibly. It's really important to pass those lessons on to our kids. And I know that's kind of a separate note, but since we're on the subject of, kids accounts or Trump accounts or 529s or whatever it is, it's like, these are for the benefit of our kids. And part of that benefit is that they actually take the wisdom that's given to them and actually use it and apply it, so that they're living the way they need to now, so they can live like they really want to later in life.
Well, we always hear, parents gripe about what their kids aren't learning in school, right? They're not learning how to balance a checkbook and all these different things. Well, okay, newsflash, nobody uses checks anymore, so maybe that's for a good reason. But they definitely need to be learning about investing and saving and compounding. And if the school's not going to teach it to them, you as the parent have a duty to do that, and you need to lead by example too. I'm not going to say don't contribute to your own retirement account so that you can contribute to these Trump accounts. I wouldn't advise that. But if you're in a situation where you've already been maxing out, your retirement accounts and you have your own house, your own, investments in good order, then this is another good option to pass these habits on to your kids. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, kind of wrapping it up, these accounts have only been out a month. Many children are going to get a free $1,000 for opening it and starting it. It's worth looking into, and it's worth, evaluating if it's going to work out in your situation. But we wanted to at least share some of the pros and, potentially some of the cons regarding it. But, we hope that you found this information helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yes, we'll see you then.
Take care.